What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime coming back at you with another video. And in today's video, guys, I am here to bring you all a episode review of Erased, heading into episode 8 this week. So let's get this started. So episode 8 leaves off right after episode 7, and we see the killer actually go into the little trailer that is in the middle of the woods, which also includes where Hinazuki is hiding out. And luckily it seems that the killer did not notice anything out of the ordinary. But it looks like the killer is using this trailer because he drops off a couple of boxes the very next day. Satoru, Kenya, and Hinazuki, and I can't remember the other. It's not a girl, it's actually a boy, believe it or not, but one of their other friends who also ends up being killed from one of the killer. If you actually pay attention to the timeline, there's actually 3 children who were killed off. It was Hinazuki. One of the girls actually appeared in this anime episode, and also there is another one which is a boy that has feminine looks with really short hair. So yeah, which is also Satoru's friend. But anyway, getting off topic here, they look at the box that the killer dropped off, and what is included there is murder supplies, like such as, you know, ski mask, duct tape, and other various tools of murder, like a rope and all that. So yeah, and we come to find out that in another box there is also something called a briquette. Now I looked this up, and apparently it is a tool that compresses charcoal and coal dust together. So my belief is that, you know, that the killer ends up burning the victims alive. He uses the charcoal from the briquette, and then obviously through other means, you know, he ends up burning the bodies, and this is how he ends up hiding the bodies and gets away with his murder in the first place. So that is something very interesting that I found out. We got also a lot of other things that were in this episode included that kind of suspected, like, maybe the murderer can actually be the teacher. I mean, many of us have suspected the teacher in the past, but with Boku dake ga Inai Machi, you really don't have any idea who the true killer is. I mean, like me, I've expected the teacher from the very beginning, but later, as, you know, events progress throughout the series, you know, you're gonna start suspecting other people, and like me, I suspected Satoru to possibly be the killer, because maybe he's just from another timeline or something. Maybe, you know, by the end of the series, maybe like he starts to take the blame for the killings just so Hinazuki can have a better life. But we really don't know at this point. But what I'm trying to get at is there was a scene that assumes that maybe the teacher could be involved because of the fact, you know, he ends up calling Satoru's mother to make sure Hinazuki and Satoru are safe, because he has known that Hinazuki hasn't shown up in school, and he had a pretty good idea that Satoru was being the one that was taking care of Hinazuki all this time. So yeah, and as soon as he ends up getting off the phone with Satoru's mom, he then calls someone else. Now, I really have no idea who he ended up calling right after the phone call with Satoru's mother, but we can suspect 2 things. That one, maybe that he ended up calling other teachers to arrive at the scene, because if you noticed in one of the scenes in this episode was that the teacher and some other teachers from the same school arrive at Hinazuki's house to try to see if they can bring in the mother in custody for themselves. And also with that phone call that the teacher gave to Satoru's mother, he said, I need something for you to do for me at 7 o'clock a.m. And that's when we see at the end of this episode what that is. But I'll get to that in a bit. So we have it to where maybe the teacher ended up calling the other teachers to see if they could bring the mother into custody, or maybe he has a darker side to him as well. Maybe he is calling the killer. We are not exactly sure at this point. Now the cliffhanger. So at the cliffhanger, we see Hinazuki go back to her house, and her mother is so enraged because her child has not been going to the house in a couple of days, and she hasn't been getting her daily dose of beatings. Screw the mother, seriously, screw her. But anyway, you know, we have it to where she ends up about to slapping Hinazuki once again about to beat her. But then we see it to where Satoru and Satoru's mother are at the scene now, and they've come to possibly to what we can assume when Satoru's mother had the conversation with the teacher, that they are going to arrive at Hinazuki's house to stand watch of, you know, basically what goes down between Hinazuki and the mother, and then maybe the teacher is going to arrive at the scene in the next episode, possibly with the police. So hopefully justice does end up getting served in the next episode, but we'll have to wait and see. But you know, we still haven't got any clarification on why the mother is beating her child in the first place. Because, I mean, obviously we as viewers are to assume that, you know, this mother is really messed up. She should pay and we should get justice. But at the same time, it's like, I kind of want to know what happened in the mother's past as well. Because usually when a parent ends up beating a child, the parent actually ended up, as a child, ended up getting beat in the past as well. So there's kind of a correlation there. It's not like, you know, a parent is just brings up a child just to beat them for pleasure, you know, as we see in this anime. So we really haven't gotten any clarification on why she is beating Hinazuki in the first place. But maybe we can assume that, you know, in the mother's past, maybe she was beaten as well. Who knows? Now, I wanted to touch upon this at the very last part of the video for this review, and that is the gloves and the scene with Hinazuki actually seeing what it's like to have family for the very first time. Like, those scenes made this episode for me. These scenes were so good. We have it to where we see Hinazuki giving Satoru his birthday present, which is actually some mittens that she herself made for him, and we see it to where you know, Satoru is crying because of this, but these gloves represent a sense of hope and accomplishment for Satoru, because he had now we have it to where Satoru has actually, you know, changed the timeline to where Hinazuki's death has been avoided, and that is just so awesome to see. And also, if Satoru didn't do this in the first place, Hinazuki wouldn't been able to have that moment that we see at the very end of this episode, to where she actually can experience what family is truly like. We have it to where she is playing with Satoru's mother. We have it to where, you know, she sees and eats breakfast just like a family for the very first time. And just, like, dude, the mother's cooking, dude, that I would eat all that stuff up. I mean, like, did you see what was on that plate? You get some miso soup, you get some eggs, some bacon. Man, that sounds like a good breakfast. And we also have it to where Hinazuki is flashing back scenes on what she has experienced as her sort of food that she has been given. She got a piece of bread, she got instant ramen, and she got like barely a few change just to get by. Possibly, I don't know if those change have actually given her any food to begin with, but it seems like, you know, that yen right there was very, very low on the currency. So yeah, I don't know if she actually was able to buy anything with that amount of money. But yeah, just seeing this girl who has had a very traumatic past with her mother and just being beaten over and over and over, and then just finally we get that scene to where she can actually experience what family is truly like and how they take care of one another, like, and then she cries. You know, man, that was sad, because, like, you know, it's just a life that she never truly had, and Satoru made that happen. So props off to you, Satoru. That about does it for this review, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you thought about this episode. And of course, if you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to stay up to date with my future content on this channel, please hit that red subscribe button below, and you'll never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a great day. Wah!